Moving on from my Chicago Bears over to another league and some news that went down actually today as I record this podcast, and I'm not necessarily proud of it because this whole story kind of just irks me in several different ways. But if you haven't heard, and I'm surprised if you haven't, because this is, for whatever reason, people are so in love with this guy. Tim Tebow signed with the minor league affiliate of the New York Mets, and he's going to be implemented in the developmental league or whatever the case is. I just don't understand it. I do understand it, but what I don't understand is I see this article here provided by ESPN. Yeah, I don't like ESPN, but they had a good write-up on it today. There were quotes by Sandy Alderson, the Mets general manager, and he said that, really, I'm paraphrasing, but he said that it was in the interest of just baseball and not anything else. And he acknowledged the fact that the marketing and blah, 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 the money and blah, 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 that had nothing to do with it, apparently. And what? How can you say that honestly? We all know that this is just a money grab. In his freaking tryout, Tim Tebow changed his wardrobe 3 different times, and all 3 times it was a different Adidas outfit. Like, are you serious? There's so much more that goes into Tim Tebow playing baseball than just Tim Tebow making a baseball team. The fact of the matter is 10 teams were interested in Tim Tebow's services. Why? I have no idea. Oh yeah, money. But for the fact that they were willing to sign this man, and I have to say, if you couldn't tell that I'm totally against this, Tim Tebow, first of all, isn't good enough to make the major at any level. He's not good enough to play at the major league level. Whether it's minor leagues, he's just not good at baseball. He's not a good baseball player. Yet, teams are still, because he's Tim Tebow, teams are willing to give him a shot. And then Sandy Alderson says, oh, we think we have something with Tim Tebow. We see his potential. Yeah, my ass. You see yourself making tons of money off of this. You see your minor league affiliate making tons of money off of this. You're seeing your franchise most likely get a reality TV show or a documentary or some sort of media exposure of some sort. You're going to get something, and they know it. That's why they did it. That's why they signed him. And if they tell you otherwise, then you're just feeding the lies of the liberal media. Don't believe the liberal media. No, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Tim Tebow in his tryout, I said this in my last show when I kind of mentioned this. One scout mentioned that Tim Tebow looked like an actor trying out for a spot on a baseball movie. Like, he wasn't even good enough to look like a baseball player. He looked like an actor trying out for a spot, which is beyond me. He faced two pitchers, David Aardsma and Chad Moeller, and both of them touched 90, I think, once, if that. So he went 8 for 19 or whatever it was, and yeah, that looks good on paper, but the contact that he made was not good. The fact that he can't throw either. He can't throw. What are they going to do? They can't make him a pitcher because he sucks. They're probably going to make him an outfielder. Because in baseball, if you're a lefty, you can only play first or one of the outfield positions or pitch, and that's it. It's unfortunate as a lefty, but that's it. You're limited to those positions only, so it's either outfielder or first base. I kind of see him as a first baseman, I guess, because a guy like David Ortiz can do it. So, I mean, yeah, the difference between David Ortiz and Tim Tebow is that David Ortiz is a legend, and Tim Tebow is just a legend in the media's eyes. Why? Let me ask you guys this. Why do people love Tim Tebow so much, and why do the media just continue to push out these kinds of storylines? Because when he was with the Jets for that year with Rex Ryan, oh my gosh, the nonstop coverage. Oh, Tim Tebow did this. Tim Tebow had eggs for breakfast. It was just so obnoxious. For what? I mean, yeah, he was a very vocal guy about his Christianity and his religious views, and he often in his press conferences would address that. Whatever. Why is Tim Tebow such a guy that people latch on to? A national championship. He threw one pass in the playoffs that won him a game. The Bears got Tebowed. That happened. Marion Barber didn't go out of bounds. You remember that, Bears fans. But it's just why? Why? I ask myself, just go away, Tim Tebow. You're not good at football. He's like, oh, baseball's been such a passion of mine. Yeah. Was it really, though? Because you haven't played since, whatever, college or high school. High school was it? If it was in high school, what the hell are you doing? You're 29 years old. Just stick to your ESPN gig. And that brings up another thing. The Mets are allowing Tim Tebow to fulfill his duties on television. How serious can you be if you're still doing that? Oh, you love baseball so much. Okay, then dedicate your life to it like all these other players. If that was me trying out for the New York Mets, I would get cut in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes. If I was Tim Tebow and I had that performance, the one he did, he had an average 40 time, but he couldn't throw and he looked awful hitting anything other than a fastball. If I had that performance in a tryout for a Major League Baseball team, I would have gotten cut in the first 15 minutes. And Tim Tebow made it. And 10 teams were interested in him. It's because his name is Tim Tebow. This doesn't make any sense to me. And I just it's kind of insulting as a baseball fan because you know how hard it is to succeed at the sport. And if he ends up proving me wrong, which I highly doubt he gets further than single A or double A. Let's see, double A. Because if you can get past double A, then you're an actual major league player, most likely. You can play in the big leagues. That's the most difficult jump players tend to make. The minor leagues, yeah, in AAA is purgatory. AAA is where you're good enough to kill it at AAA, but bad enough to make it in the major, like Gordon Beckham. So, I mean, you could be like Gordon Beckham. But Tim Tebow, I don't even think he can make it out of wherever he is in his developmental league. And that's a joke. That is a joke right there, guys. So, Tim Tebow, what are you doing other than trying to stay relevant in the eyes of America? It's so insulting. I hate it. I just don't know. I just don't want him a part of Major League Baseball, period. Like, he's not good. Like, it baffles me. He's terrible. And some teams signed him. The power of branding.